Sam and Ron here with a Perfectly Imperfect Marriage, and wanted to talk a little bit today about forgiveness and what forgiveness looks like in your marriage as well as in ours.
Yeah, forgiveness can be pretty tough some days when you're trying to dish out forgiveness for the person that you love very much, but you really can't stand them in the moment. So you definitely have to be intentional, and that's what we're here to kind of give you some tips on how to be intentional in your forgiveness.
And intentionality is the biggie. Forgiveness is a choice, and it's not making yourself, a floor mat or dismissing the infraction, but it's unburdening yourself from holding the weight that is eventually going to lead to resentment. And no matter what, I would suggest that you always start with prayer. Through prayer, ideally, you're coming to a point of humility where you know that you need to receive grace, and then the realization that offering grace in certain moments you have to do.
And it'll come more naturally when you receive the grace that Christ gives to us in the moment where we may have been contributing to that argument just as well, but we can't see it in that moment. So prayer, I absolutely agree 100%, is where you need to start.
And then I would also say that offering forgiveness is important, but being able to receive forgiveness is just as important. You can't regularly hold negative thoughts about yourself, or if you're holding on to an infraction that needs to be brought into the light, asking for forgiveness is just as unburdening as offering forgiveness is for the forgiver. So being able to ask for forgiveness humbly and then receiving it is a whole almost skill set in itself.
Yeah. And I think that there's definitely been moments where I've had a hard time forgiving myself in different scenarios where through my prayer, I was able to see where I was wrong in a scenario and thought that, well, if I can't forgive myself, how can I expect that person to forgive me? A whole conundrum.
It really is. So forgiveness isn't something that we're going to be able to totally unpack in a 3-minute video, but being humble, being intentional are biggies. But also keep this in mind, when you are asking for forgiveness and you need to apologize, you need to apologize authentically.
Yeah.
An apology without a change in behavior is really just manipulation. You have to be willing to admit your fault and then take the steps that are required to ensure the fact that that behavior pattern doesn't happen again.
So this could be a good place to conclude with a question for self-reflection. When you're apologizing, are you apologizing just to end the argument and move on? Or are you apologizing so that you can have some resolution and peace in your relationship?
Ooh, how about that? All right, until next time, guys. See you.
Bye.